The first time you didn't hear me, didn't feel me, didn't let my words land inside your chest. I felt the world stop spinning. Just for a moment. Just long enough for something inside me to whisper, "Be careful. Something here isn't safe." That tiny moment, that tiny fracture, was the beginning of the end of a love you thought would last forever. Hello, my dear. This is Always Yours, Katara Lilith, and today, inside the mind I live in, I'm going to blow your mind with one simple, devastating truth: why female love dies, why your relationships fall apart, why the woman who once adored you starts to feel distant, cold, unreachable. This is the transition from in love to goodbye. And if you truly want to keep your partner for the rest of your life, if you want real, grounded, lasting devotion, you must listen. Your entire future depends on understanding this. Because there are only 3 real stages every powerful partnership goes through: the in-love stage, chemistry, obsession, idealization, fantasy. Stage 2, the disappointment, divided, triggers, irritations, unmet needs, emotional warfare. And finally, the forever love stage, the calm one, the grounded one, the one you earn, not receive. If you survive stage 2, if you walk through the fire, if you shed ego, if you speak honestly, you reach the love that stays. But most people break, right at the border, between fantasy and reality. This episode is about that exact moment, the moment things begin to fall apart, and the moment you decide whether you're building the forever together or just repeating history, repeating your parents' paths, social fairy tales, or just sinking in an overwhelming lost happiness swamp. My dear boys, do you want to know how a woman's love dies? It's not dramatic. It's not loud. It doesn't explode. It evaporates. It dies when she feels her emotions bouncing off your silence. It dies when her tenderness meets your indifference. It dies when her vulnerability is treated like inconvenience. When a woman loves, she becomes chemistry itself. Her entire nervous system reorganizes around you. Dopamine desire, oxytocin attachment, serotonin stability. She doesn't just love, she creates love. You feel like a king, a god, a man chosen by the universe. She builds a whole inner world where you shine, and Zeus is your best friend. And then, you get used to it. You walk into her galaxy, like it's just another Tuesday. But nothing permanent comes from one person carrying everything. Love is weather, and you forgot to check the forecast. Ladies, we know this part too well. At first, he looks at you like you rewired the sky. Like your existence itself is a miracle he can't fully grasp. That's the in-love stage. A natural high, a drug, a hormonal carnival. But men cannot stay at that high forever. Sorry, dear. You wish, I wish, Eve wished too. But a man's brain adapts faster. The chemicals settle. The spark evens out. Familiarity walks in. Quietly, comfortably, dangerously. He returns to the world, achieving, conquering, proving. You begin to feel just a bit alone next to the man you love. Not because he stopped loving you, but because his rhythm changed, and yours didn't. That is your first crack. The moment where your emotional needs and his psychological instincts stop walking in sync. He is comfortable, relaxed, settled. You are shifting, questioning, feeling. And he doesn't realize that familiarity is the very thing that dismantles a woman's heart. And then comes the disappointment, quiet, soft, invisible. The first time he doesn't notice, the sadness in your voice, you feel it. The first time your vulnerability is brushed aside, your stomach tightens. The first time he answers with "I love you too," in a tone that feels accidental. Your intuition screams. That is stage 2, the hatred stage. Not hatred as destruction, but hatred as disappointment, as unmet expectations, as emotional hunger. And unless you both weather this stage, you never reach real love. Now let's go deeper. A woman chooses a man who can fulfill her one core need, and that need always comes from her father. For example, mine was care. No one cared about me, not even my mother. Father did. From afar, prohibited to come closer, but when he did, it felt good. Warm, soft. I finally found it. Yours might be admiration, protection, stability, presence, security, or emotional softness. So listen, my dear man, if you made me fall in love by giving me care and then you take that away, no amount of gifts or money or promises can replace that. My first need was care. Please think now, what's yours? Without water, even the most beautiful flower dies. If your woman's core need was admiration, and you stop admiring her, stop seeing her, stop looking at her with that glow, she will starve emotionally, and she will look, even unconsciously, for someone who gives her what she needs to breathe. Women tell you what they need. I miss your hands. I miss your attention. I miss how you used to snuggle me. I miss your morning calls. These are not complaints. These are warnings. These are love's fire alarms. And yes, you've seen those couples. She asks for something simple, a gesture, a word, a touch, and he says, I give you everything. I work for you. I build for you. I dedicate my life to you. Beautiful, honorable, but irrelevant. All she asked for was your hands. She wanted you, not your resume. She wanted touch, not sacrifice. She wanted presence, not arrangements. She wanted to feel loved, not indebted. We're not going deep into it today, but please read The 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman. Sit together and talk about them honestly, because if you match even 3 out of 5, you have massive potential for happiness, connection, and longevity. Love isn't magic, it's translation. And now, let's talk about what kind of woman a man chooses at his core. Because just like a woman unconsciously looks for the masculine imprint of her father, a man looks for the emotional imprint of his mother, or the mother he wished he had. Most men choose one of 2 types, either a woman who resembles his mother's essence, or a woman who is the complete opposite. And this, my girls, is where your wisdom begins. Let's say a boy grew up with a very beautiful, elegant, stunning mother, the kind of woman everyone admired. But maybe, just maybe, she withheld something from him emotionally. Maybe she was distant, or too busy, or emotionally unavailable. And then you see this man, all grown up, walking proudly next to a woman who, by society's shallow standards, might be considered ordinary, not glamorous, not stunning, not what people expected. But she, this woman, is giving him the one core emotional need his mother never gave him. And that need, when fulfilled, becomes more important to him than beauty, than glamour, than any external perfection. Because even though the full package sounds great, life always asks us to choose, to sacrifice something, and a man will always choose emotional fulfillment over aesthetic fantasy when it comes to the woman he builds a life with. Now, let's go deeper. If a man was raised by a mother who was loving, gentle, and caring, he may naturally seek a woman with that same softness. But if his mother was mistreated, if she lived under the shadow of a tyrant husband, that boy may grow into the kind of man who becomes deeply caring and protective toward women. This is not surface psychology. This is the foundation of how male adult personality forms. This is childhood scripting carried into manhood. This is why some boys become protectors, and some become avoiders, and some become silent, and some become angry, and some become incredibly loving. So don't judge men so harshly. Don't reduce them to moneymakers or machines of intimacy. He also has a core need, just like you do. Your only task is to find out what that need is, and once you know it, you will know exactly who he is and exactly why he chose you. Here comes the ancient question. Who should make the first move? Who should soften first? Who should rebuild first? This is where couples destroy themselves. She waits for him to return to the man he used to be. He waits for her to return to the woman she used to be. Both are hurting. Both are waiting. Both are punishing each other for needs they never articulated and wounds they never healed. Now let's break it down further. Yes, you provide. You build. You work. You carry the weight of the world. But providing is not intimacy. Providing is not affection. Providing is not an emotional presence. You don't provide for her. You provide for the household, the family, the life you both share. Meanwhile, all she needed was a touch, a hand, a shoulder, a moment of tenderness. And now, the simplest solution on earth. Ask her, what was the thing I gave you that made you fall in love with me? Did I stop giving it? Did I forget? Please remind me. And girls, answer honestly. I fell in love with you because you made me feel cherished, seen, chosen, important. Stick to that one thing. The original truth. The foundation. Give her that, and she will fly again. Love is a two-way street, but a woman must be wiser. My mother never taught me that. Maybe yours did, but if not, then we are here to write our own story, our own script, our own ending. Forget the old lessons. Forget who failed you. Forget what hurt you. Start again, with truth, with awareness, with presence. Because the story of your life belongs to you now. Men always tell you what they want. Not with words, but with longing, admiration, tenderness, softness, warmth, vulnerability. A man wants your glow turned toward him. He wants to feel chosen. He wants his efforts to matter. He wants your voice, gentle, soft, kind. That is what makes a man's soul feel at home. And what does a woman want? Strength, wisdom, reliability, stability. She wants to melt, to soften, to feel protected, to feel adored. And she wants touch, not grand gestures, but the small things. A hand on her waist, a kiss on her forehead, A whisper saying, I'm here. Small gestures rebuild worlds. So, my loves, I will see you next week. Here is your homework. Talk about your love languages, not as owners, as humans. And when you're about to argue, just stop. Yes. Shut up. Just breathe. Just come closer. Touch each other. Look at each other. Place your hand on their heart and say, I appreciate you. Because sometimes love doesn't need explanations. It just needs presence. Thank you, my beautiful listeners. Special shout out goes to the Philippines, Singapore, and the United Kingdom, and everywhere else you're listening from. I'd be happy to review and analyze your question. Become a member and send me the story from the mind you live in.